Hello, my name is Stephen Harris, and this is my final presentation for sports finance and Wichita State football in regards to whether if Wichita State can bring their football program back. So one of the things that I did in this presentation was I decided to put in this graph in regards to how much money WSU has made each year through their athletic events. As you can see, throughout the last several years, because of how much success Wichita State has had in their athletic programs, their money has increased by an average of at least $1.5 to $2 million each year. So overall, looking at the other information in regards to studying of bringing the football program back to Wichita State University, it would start annually at around $6 million for at least the first year. And then for a startup facility and to bring everything else back, the university would be looking at around $40 million. So in June of 2016, Wichita State did their own report in regards to football expenses and bringing back the program. And in conclusion, the first year expenses would be $238 for coaches' salaries and recruiting. After a year of preparation and practice expenses, it would rise up to around $5.8 million for the first season of play, and it would rise up to $6.5 million for the second season. The coaches' revenue would be around $1 million for the $6.5 million total. In that case scenario, at least $1 million would need to be the salary for the coaches, assistant coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, you name them. The report projects the revenue of about $1.2 million by the fifth year of the program. For FBS football, the cost would increase from $585,451 to $10.5 million 5 years later, after it's announced that Wichita State would bring back their football team. In that scenario, the salary for coaches would account for $2.5 million of the fifth year budget. By the fifth year, the report projects revenue of $2.5 million. If anything, WSU's institutional and financial profile would be closer in some cases to start their football program in the FCS than in the FBS. So according to the report that was made in June of 2016, to meet Title IX requirements, WSU would likely need to add one or more women's sports and list soccer, swimming, and diving. They already have bowling, but they would need to add soccer and swimming or something like that. At this time, WSU ranks in the 75th percentile of FCS schools, of similar FBS schools, with $25 million. Unfortunately, football is a part for much of that disparity. Luckily, since we generated around $19 million in 2015, WSU compares favorably to schools in the American and Mountain West conferences, whose members bring in between $14 and $29 million in revenues, meaning WSU would have a better chance getting into the American and or the Mountain West Conference. Unfortunately, a study from the GLMV Architecture estimates that it would cost between $21 and $28 million for stadium improvements and or to just build a new stadium for things like escalators, elevators, flat screen TV, turf, and all that good stuff. In return, Cessa Stadium would receive a new press box and suites in addition to artificial turf, and Rays would be rebuilt. Overall, would it be worth to bring the football program back to Wichita State University? It would be a long shot, but the university continues to successfully bring in money for the team renovation to the stadium. If they decide to do that, or build the new stadium and follow the requirements of Title IX, it would be possible to maybe start the football program up by 2020. This is my works cited page, and this is my presentation.